Michael Daner has been teaching meditation for 15 years and meditating for more than 45. He has been practicing Bhakti Yoga, Dzogchen, and Vipassana Buddhism. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here.
Thanks, Kathy.
In this episode, what we're going to do is you're going to teach us a new practice, and the practice is called rainbow meditation, but I don't know what that is.
Okay, well, let me real quickly just put it on the spectrum of meditation. And I have these kind of a way to show it in a sense in mudras or hand explanations. So the beginning of meditation, most meditation, you could really call concentration. So it's focusing on an object or a sound. And the idea is to screen out the world, pretty much. Then you open up your meditation, and it's you welcome in the world, but you try to bring your meditation into everyday life. So it's like now you're accepting life. And the final step, although these are not separate from each other, but the final is like that. And you give up much of the technique, and you just bring awareness into everything you're doing. So you don't. So to have a technique would take you out of awareness. So you're just trying to be awake in the moment and wherever you are, whatever you're doing. So what I'm going to be teaching today is rainbow light practice, and it's really more like this in the sense that it's more of a concentration, but it's slightly different because it's really a purification. It's not something that you would sit and do for an hour. It's something that you would do before you did your hour sitting in order to align the energies, or on the second thing that it can be used for is for healing. And the idea, this is taken from Dzogchen practice in that they would do this before you really do your practice to purify the elements. And in Dzogchen practice, rainbows feature really, really prominently. Yeah, so not only do they do this purification, which is breathing in rainbow light. So you imagine you're breathing in a rainbow, and you're breathing out impurities, almost like a cloud, a dark cloud of impurities. So in the same way, you can bring it towards a part of your body. If you're having an issue with something you want to heal, you can imagine that rainbow concentrated in the part of your body that you're trying to heal, and then expelling the dark energy out. So not only is this used as a preliminary practice, and throughout the Dzogchen practice, you're using the colors of the elements, bringing them into your body. I'm not going to go into that now, because usually you want to have an introduction from a Dzogchen master or teacher to explain that in depth. But just suffice it to say that they use that through the it's an important part of the meditation, and it's so important that the penultimate realization of a Dzogchen master in Tibet, they would sew themselves into a tent when they knew that they were going to die, and at the moment of death, rainbows would emanate from the tent, and they'd open it up afterwards, and they'd find just the hair and the fingernails were left behind. So, and I just saw that my Dzogchen teacher, Namkhai Norbu, wrote a book about his uncle who achieved rainbow. They call it Jalu, or rainbow body. And it actually is happening even into modern times.
So if we do it, are we going to turn into rainbows? Right here before the cameras?
Well, should we tell them what to do with our hair?
Yeah, right, exactly. So with my teeth and my hair.
A reliquary for you, of course.
Can we try this?
Sure.
Can we try it for a minute?
Sure.
You're going to lead us through it?
Yeah. So just one thing is, I would say if somebody wants to do this, what they should do is look at a picture of a rainbow. Not to try to memorize it's red, orange, et cetera, just to get the feeling of a rainbow, the basic colors, the red, gold, green. But you don't want to be mentally recreating the rainbow. Just go with the general feeling of the rainbow as you breathe in the rainbow light and you breathe out the impurities. So I would just say do that before, so that you've got an idea of And you can even simplify a rainbow into red, yellow, green, and blue, purple, 4 colors instead of the 6 colors. So on that note, let's try to sit in an upright but relaxed manner. And visualize rainbow light on the in-breath permeating your entire body, from your hands, your head, down to your feet. And breathing out any impurities, dark cloud. Breathing in rainbow light, permeating our body. And breathing out any tension and impurities. Breathing in the rainbow light on the out-breath, any impurities. Let's just keep doing it on our own for a minute or two. Now, if there's any place in your body, any place in pain or any place that needs healing, concentrate that rainbow light right into that part of your body. You can do this as a preliminary practice before you do your sitting, or you can do it for healing. It's really good for healing as well. So.
Yeah, that was nice. When I was doing the blackout,
Yeah.
it sort of made me feel more relaxed, It was like I felt like I was releasing something.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but one time I said expel any negativity or tensions too. So it is totally tension is part of it.
Yeah, it was nice. So people can use it, as you said, like as an intro, and they can kind of do it as a healing. I imagine you could kind of do it pretty much anywhere. I mean, it's a short practice. You can do it for
Yeah,
as long.
and one of the interesting things is, I always talk about the meditation myths, and one of the meditation myths is that meditation is what you do first thing in the morning or at the end of the day, but of course meditation can be at any moment, any time. And actually, if you want to put it in the context of the Buddha, I believe he said standing, sitting, lying down, defecating. He put that in there just so you know it's anytime, anywhere. And I would add even dreaming. There's a practice in dream yoga, so that when you go to sleep, instead of just just like we're unconscious during the day, or you could wake up, the same thing at night. You can also use that as a time to wake up. Although that seems counterintuitive when you're sleeping to wake up. It's actually like lucid dreaming. In a lucid dream, you don't really wake up in that kind of wake up.
Mm-hmm. So where did you learn this practice?
I studied and am still a student of Namkhai Norbu, who was a Tibetan. He kind of wrote the book on Dzogchen. Dzogchen was even though the founder of Dzogchen said direct introduction, which would make you think you would spread the word, it was considered to be a hidden teaching, and it was not very widely taught. And there's still certain practices that are not taught publicly. So I was told about Namkhai Norbu. Somebody said, if you like this, well, you'll love this. And Norbu was he was a tulku. He had a tulku was like the Dalai Lama was a tulku, and it's like a reincarnation, basically, and they're discovered. So he was a reincarnation, allegedly a reincarnation. He'll say, oh, you have a much better chance of being a reincarnation if your family is rich and famous. So he's like very, he's funny like that, and he'll say it like it is. But the Dalai Lama was, like his family was very poor, and they seek out, through signs they come to, and then they show them a whole array of different things, and if he can pick out the things that belong to the last person he's a reincarnation of, and they ask
they
questions.
do that when they're like really little children, before like they're fully functioning or whatever, because then they feel like, oh, the recognition, why would they pick that one item when there's other items they could pick?
Right, right, and then it's almost like they make a queen bee, So Norbu had that classical education of a tulku, but then he had to flee Tibet, and he was supposed to be I believe it was the Dharma Raj of Sikkim. So the Dharma Raj is almost like the Dalai Lama, but the spiritual, teacher of Sikkim. But the 3 previous Dharma Rajas had been poisoned. So his local king said, you should stay here even though you're the Dharma Raj. So he stayed in Tibet, but then when there was no other choice, he fled, I believe it was to Sikkim, and Professor Tucci, who ran the Oriental Institute in Rome, brought Norbu as kind of a wonderkind of this culture to Italy. And he was at this Oriental Institute, ultimately became a professor Namkhai Norbu at the University of Naples. With all this knowledge and all this background, he wasn't teaching. And then finally, after, 20 or 30 years, he was teaching, Oriental studies or Asian studies. And some of his students said, do you know any of these practices? And he began teaching later in his academic career. And then, as I said, he wrote a book on Dzogchen, and it was kind of the first book in the West really describing, he was a renegade as well.
Oh, so is a lot of the practices in Dzogchen visualizations like that, with the rainbow and stuff? Are a lot of them visualizations, or kind of all over?
Well, it's a completely different teaching. There's three teaching styles in Dzogchen. There's three different styles, Semde, Longde, and Upadesha. And the Semde teachings are really basically to give you a taste of the ultimate state that they call Rigpa, which is the closest thing we can say is to being here now, to being lucid in this moment, to give you that taste. And there's everything from like startling people, like, hey! And in that moment of startling, it's like, oh, that's a little bit what it's like. And they do visualization practices, like extremely powerful. So there's those. Semde is to separate our ultimate mind from our fundamental mind.
And those are those like really quick ones. Those really.
Well, they're not all really quick. Some are visualizations. There's 21 Semzen. Then there's another series which is more like yogic, where you press points in your body and just sit. You don't even do it, and it happens by itself. And then there's the Upadesha, which means next to the seat, and this is where the teacher whispers in your ear and points. It's called also the pointing out instructions, and they'll say, whatever they say, and at the same time they might do sort of a little bit of maybe give you the vibe of it, and you catch it.
And so what kind of things are they pointing out? Like, so you're sitting next to them, and then what are they?
Well, they might point out to you, like,
a sound or a meditation, or we don't know.
Well, I can't really give you what they would point out in the moment, because it would be in the moment thing, So
right.
It could be a sound. It could be something that would,
in the environment.
In the environment, or
maybe not.
Or maybe not.
Oh, okay.
It could be. As a matter of fact, the famous one is my friend Tom went to see, who's a lawyer. He went to see Tulku Orgyen, whose sons are Sokni, Mingyur, the three brothers. And he was an amazing, I almost went back to India just to see him after 30 years or something. So my friend Tom was with Tulku Orgyen, a Dzogchen master, and all of a sudden he went, and Tom did not have a thought for 2 days. Didn't have a thought for 2 days. He gave him a taste of the fundamental experience. But after 2 days, the thought came to him, wait a second, I'm a lawyer. I can't live like this.
That's the thought. So what does it mean to not have a thought for 2 days? Was he just sort of in like a coma state, or was he still functioning?
Well,
what does that mean, not to have a thought for 2 days?
Okay, I can't say what Tom's experience was. I can just say,
was he
I had an experience myself, very similar experience. And what happened was, every time a thought started to arise, I could feel the tension, and that tension unwound the thought, and I went back into the spacious state of just presence of being here now. Not meaning you couldn't function during the day. You could still, like, I wasn't paralyzed. But
it just wasn't like some running dialogue that we normally have. It was just sort of.
It ended the rumination. It ended all the discursive thought. And for a couple of days, I was blessed to have that experience.
So you were still like going about your day.
Yeah.
Getting up, eating, whatever.
I was calling up very experienced practitioners and saying, "What's going on? I'm having this experience," and they didn't really know. And if you read the Buddha's treatise on meditation and breathing, the breathing meditation, he talks about what they call the signs of practice, and people have there's classical groups of signs of practice. One of them being clairaudience, where you can hear sounds off at a great distance. There's a bunch of, and they're just sort of like, you've gone from a very conditioned state, and you're tasting the unconditioned state. And from that, that change, it's just very profound.
Yeah,
Things
and
happen.
it's not like you're hearing another dimension or something. It's just that you're so quiet and so still that your senses are enhanced because you're so quiet and still.
Exactly.
I don't mean not active. I just mean like
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. So, yeah, so Tom had that experience. I had it not from that. Norbu's teacher was actually a Tibetan doctor, a very, he was a Tibetan doctor. And so Norbu learned how to do Tibetan medicine. So he had these little little pills. I don't know if you've ever seen those Tibetan pills. They're little round, almost like homeopathic things sometimes.
I've seen the
look like.
Chinese ones.
Yeah, and so he had them that he would give out, just not a big deal. He would give it out, and they were comprised of like from the funeral pyres of different saints and things like that. So I took a few, and I did this practice I've been doing, and I had that experience.
Huh.
Yeah, just completely unexpected.
And did you take those again?
No, I still have some.
You still have some. I wonder if they'd still be good.
That's what
Would
I
they
always.
be more powerful or less powerful?
I just always wonder about that myself.
You should have brought some today. Interesting. So did that the time that you had that you didn't have any thoughts, how did that feel, or what was, was it?
Well, it was very. I look to it as like an example. Of course, you don't want to try to recreate history, but I look to that as.
But we do.
Yeah, I look to that as an example of a really amazing space, and.
So it was enjoyable. Did you feel peaceful, or was there some?
Oh yeah.
Or was there some element that made you a little nervous because you were like, oh, what the heck is going on? Oh.
Not at all. It was very, because as I said, in Dzogchen they talk about 3 ways. See, we all look at it. We're trying to meditate and get into like that kind of a space. The other way around is you can be in that space and not want to fall out of that space, right? So that's more of what that experience was for me. So it gave me an experience of what it could be to have a continuous. But in Dzogchen, they describe what they call cutting through. So cutting through is sort of the second aspect of the path, and in cutting through, there's different ways to cut, and it's cutting through, once again, the discursive thought and the tension that we experience. And they talk about 3 different ways. One way is meeting an old friend. So that means you've had these anger come up so many times, if that's your issue, or sexual predatory nature, whatever it is, whatever your issue is, you start to notice it so often, and instead of it being a bad thing, it becomes a key or an ally to waking you up, and there it is again. And you just drop that discursive thought, and for a moment you drop back into another way is a thief enters an empty house. So that's more like kind of like what I was describing in a sense. A thief entering an empty house. A thief comes into an empty house. There's nothing for him to steal. He's just there. He leaves because he can't take anything. There's nothing left. So if you're kind of empty, the thoughts and the negativity isn't going to really, there's nothing to latch on to. And the third one is I don't know if most of us can't relate to it, or it's from nature. And it's, if you ever saw a snake moving, sometimes it's coiling and uncoiling as it moves across the thing. And that's sort of like more of like the space that I was in, like feeling the tension start to come back just right then. It just keys you back into that state of presence and awareness, which in Dzogchen they call rikpa. That's sort of their. And I mentioned to you also that the really interesting thing is we were talking about how Bhakti Yoga, how can you be a Bhakti Yoga and how can you be a Dzogchen practitioner? isn't like Dzogchen like a heady mental Buddhist teaching, and Bhakti Yoga is like a sloppy bhakti who's in love and, you know, just falling.
Because bhakti's like the heart practice.
That's the heart practice.
Right?
It's devotional practice.
Uh-huh.
So you have a person or, you know, a thing, whatever. It could be a lingam or a person that you're so in love with that your heart's completely open. And Buddhism has that aspect. Dzogchen certainly has that aspect, and traditional Buddhism and Vipassana Buddhism has metta, which is kind of heart, opening your heart in another way. And in Dzogchen, they say that the central aspect of Dzogchen is guru yoga. So it's really that connection with your guru. So no conflict.
Yeah. We're almost out of time. We only got another minute or so. But is there any, like, so would you recommend the rainbow practice to people, or do you think it's appropriate?
I would, as a way, before you start your practice, if you just want to get sort of your energy in a really good space, or if you want to do it for healing purposes. And I also, as I said, I do like Skype coaching, and so when I do that, it's really you see where a person's at, because everybody, it's sort of an individualized thing, because some people can't sit for more than 5 minutes, and some people are sitting for hours, but they still have issues and questions about where they're going and what to do.
So I want to thank you for coming.